Sponsored by Skillshare. In 2016, we got the truly wireless EarPod-style AirPods. In 2017, make that 2018, we got the room-filling HomePod. In 2019, second-generation AirPods, and right at the end of the year, the in-ear AirPods Pro. Now, rumor has it, we may just be getting truly wireless over-the-ear headphones from Apple. StudioPods, so to speak. So, what and why? I'm Rene Ritchie, and this is Vector. Apple introduced AirPods at the September 2016 event, salve for ripping the headphone jack clean off the iPhone 7. Rumors for over-the-ear versions first popped up about a year and a half later, in February of 2018, from, who else? Supply chain exfiltrator extraordinaire Guo Mingqi. Guo, via Mac Rumors, said the company was making Apple-branded, high-end, over-the-ear headphones with an all-new design, as convenient as AirPods but with better sound quality, and would begin shipping them at the end of 2018 at the earliest. A month later, Mark Gurman and Debbie Wu of Bloomberg followed up, repeating that Apple was working on high-end, noise-canceling, over-the-ear headphones that would rival Bose or Beats. Bloomberg also pegged them for an end of 2018 launch, but added that development had been on and off over the past year, and Apple had faced challenges that might push the release back. So let's break all that down. Own brand obviously means with an Apple logo on them, not a Beats logo. Apple bought Beats back in 2014 and have kept Beats headphones not only alive since then, but thriving. The very same day, Phil Schiller, Apple's Senior Vice President of Marketing, announced the AirPods and the custom W1 wireless silicon, he also announced all new Beats X, Power Beats, and Beats Pro, all with the exact same chip. Last year, Apple not only released second-generation AirPods with new H1 headphone silicon, but new Power Beats Pro and Solo Pro, again with the exact same chip. Now, Beats also has an over-the-ear headphone line, Beats Studio, but there are no Beats Studio Pros yet, and none with that H1 chipset. Maybe there will be, maybe there won't. Regardless, with the way Apple is slowly eating its way up the headphone chain, Apple-branded StudioPods just make the kind of sense that does. That's because AirPods are a phenomenon. Despite the usual short-sighted tech-spurts making fun of them at launch and well beyond, they've not only become a meme, they've become a multi-billion-dollar business. AirPods Pro began expanding that business, adding features like water resistance and active noise cancellation at a higher price point, and Apple still can't keep up with demand. Going from in-ear to over-the-ear is just the next logical step. All new designs gotta mean Apple industrial design rather than Beats, which will be great for people who find Beats a little loud and ostentatious and prefer the more minimal Apple aesthetic. But maybe not so great for people who prefer crunchy manual controls like physical volume buttons, play, pause, and skip forward or back. AirPods can take a virtual tap, AirPods Pro a virtual squeeze. It's part concession to the truly tiny size, part Apple gonna Apple. Over-the-ear StudioPods would be much, much bigger. They're not commonly called cans due to their size, but you'd be forgiven for thinking just exactly that reason. Hopefully Apple can find some design is how it works middle ground there. Convenience will no doubt come in the form of the existing interface that works with the H1 chip to make setup a glass of ice water in Bluetooth hell. So StudioPods or StudioPods Pro or whatever Apple calls them should work the same way as AirPods and AirPods Pro. Bring them close, tap to connect, and bam, you're connected. Then you can use a combination of on-device, Siri, in Control Center, and in Settings toggles to set things up just the way you like. Since these would be positioned at the highest end, maybe Apple could even do something fancy with EQ or sound profiles, so you can change them depending on your personal preferences in general, or just what you're listening to. From Siri, reference mode, to Siri, boom that bass. And, like I talked about in my Future of AirPods video, one day, who knows? Everything from 5G to onboard Apple Music and health sensors, so when the Apple Watch becomes the new iPhone, the AirPods become the new Apple Watch. As to shipping in late 2018 at the earliest, well, clearly we've already blown way past that goal. Audio devices in general have proven tricky and time-consuming for Apple to ship. The original AirPods were delayed months, HomePod into the next year. Rumors pegged both the second-generation AirPods and AirPods Pro for earlier releases as well. Apple's in no dire need to ship StudioPods though, so it's one of those things where getting it right is far more important than just getting it right now. Which brings me to the other thing Apple's struggled with historically: audio quality. Now, I'm exactly the kind of monster who's fine listening to audio podcasts on a speakerphone. Not even a modern one either, like back in the Trio and original iPhone days. So I completely understand how subjective and personal audio quality can be, and how much Emperor's new headphones really exists and what golden ears claim they can hear as price tags soar into the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars for reference sets that make you want to scream into outer space. But Apple, the iPod company, hasn't had a reputation for good audio, actually a reputation for kind of bad audio. Its white-wired EarPods became iconic, and Apple spent a ton of time and resources designing the one-size-fits-most, if not all, EarPods. But the sound was still all shades of meh at best, as were the speakers on pretty much every iPhone, iPad, and Mac. Then, Apple bought Beats, and rather than just integrate that company's existing sound tech, Apple decided to sound different. Eventually, Apple put together a team of experts, some of the best in the business, and began construction on a massive new audio lab near what would become Apple Park. And we started to see the work from that team in things like iPad Pro speakers, which would stay in their proper channels regardless of how you rotated them. The iPhone earpiece, which would try and beam audio towards your ear regardless of exactly where you were holding it against your head. Then came AirPods, and people complained they were paying a lot of money for audio that was still middling at best. Now, of course, what we were actually paying for was the W1, now H1 chip, all the sensors, and the expense of crushing all those things down to fit in that tiny bud. But still, the audio. Then came HomePod with computational audio that let you drop it almost anywhere in a room and instantly get great audio no matter where you dropped it or where you moved relative to it. That to me was the line. Apple's coming out party for its new audio tech, and the first time it invited anyone, yours truly included, into that giant new sound lab. Set by science and engineering, sweetened by humans and musicians, it was the first in a new line of speaker technology from Apple that's now brought us spatial audio, Dolby Atmos speakers on iPhones, and even the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and Beats and even AirPods Pro with better sound than ever. AirPods Pro, though, while better than AirPods, are filled with even more impressive and more expensive technology, like 10 cores of audio silicon, and they still don't win universal praise for the way they sound. So the biggest question for me is, with the much bigger sound space of over-the-ear headphones to work with, will the StudioPods transcend the AirPods and provide a much more HomePod-style experience? Will it impress the way the MacBook Pro speakers have? Will it win over not just the mainstream, but the audiophiles? And most importantly to my specific needs, will I be able to just slap them on, hit noise canceling, and disappear into writing and coffee drinking? The latter thanks to Michael Phillips, Director of Training at Blue Bottle, who has just the perfect Skillshare course to get me through. He shows you what it takes to brew an amazing cup of coffee just for yourself, or even if you want to host your own coffee tasting at home for your friends. It's just coffee the way it's meant to be done. So good and so much. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers membership with meaning, with classes to explore in illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives. Skillshare empowers you to accomplish real growth, all designed to move your creative journey forward without putting your life on hold. You can learn and grow with short classes that fit your busy routine and affordably with an annual subscription that's less than $10 a month. Join more than 7 million creators learning with Skillshare. The first 500 of you who click the link in the description will get 2 free months of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. Act now and start learning today. Thanks, Skillshare, and thanks to all of you for supporting the show. So, those are the rumors and the questions I have surrounding Apple-branded over-the-ear headphones, what I'm calling StudioPods, at least for now, and I'd love to know what you think. Hit like if you do, subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps out the channel, noise cancel that bell gizmo so YouTube will actually alert you when new videos go live, and then hit up the comments and let me know. Thanks for watching, see you next video.